Hey everybody, welcome back. I am the Gerbil, and this is your question 11, and there's a lot of really fun questions, so let's jump right into this, shall we? So first question from ChronoCast. ChronoCast is wondering about some data mines that suggest there could be some more galactic chases in our near future, and I believe the answer to that is an absolute 100% yes. As many of you probably know, I fully expect the next galactic legend ship, whatever you want to call it, next summer will be the Resolute or another Galactic Republic. Did I say that? Whatever. And in order to get there, we absolutely need some more ships. I think that 2024 is going to be all about Phantom Menace, clones, Jedi Council in particular, and Separatists. I could be wrong, of course. I mean, this is all speculation, but I think that Gas is going to be the leader. I think Relic 10 will be required, and currently we have a whole bunch of Jedi without ships in the game, and we just got Caloran back, another one who was prominently featured in The Mandalorian flying a ship. So yeah, I think we're going to get some Galactic Republic love. I think we're going to get more ships. We're going to get a new Galactic Republic capital ship, and then I think next year it will be a Separatist ship, or vice versa. Anyway, yeah, definitely think it's coming. Up next from Joe McFando, the question here is, with the additive drops currently in play, should you like hoard up for those? Well, let me explain it this way. Additive drops and bonus drops used to be a rarity, and they may be a rarity again. But in the last 2 months, we have seen a lot of bonus drop opportunities. If that is the new normal going forward, I see no reason anymore to hoard, because they're just going to come around a lot more frequently. Yeah, hoarding is still going to net you some benefit, of course, no matter what, but I don't see the overall value in it. And if the characters that the additive drops are offering, or the double drops, whatever, if they're not, like, honestly in your path that you have mapped out and been dedicating the last couple months to, I would not recommend deviating from it. I would stay on target, because as the meme says, what could go wrong, right? It's very, very easy in this game to get sidetracked, and then before you know it, you have a whole bunch of half squads. Finish up your farms, finish up your squads, complete your quest, then pick something new and go at that. Personally, I am not concerned about all the additive drops right now for Marin and Tarful and whatever. If I get them, great, I get them. But likely, I'm not going to really pursue those anyway until they are accelerated. So I am using this opportunity to farm up characters that are going to benefit me in the immediate short term, like raid characters, whatever. And yeah, raids come and go, right? But Imperial Troopers, they're good no matter what. So how are all of the new characters going to pan out? You know, Paz Vizsla and the new Darksaber Bo-Katan, who knows? Cal is obviously very good, no doubt about it. But is that going to add a significant value to your roster? If not, no, I would not deviate from your current plan. That's just my humble advice. From Mara Jade, question about leadership and team orders. First thing, whether you're talking about the arena or the raid, double leaderships never ever matter. It doesn't matter if you put 5 characters with leadership abilities. And this is a common question that a lot of newer players have, because the game is not clear. There's nothing that explicitly states that I can recall. The only leadership that gets considered in any team event is the first character added to the squad when you are preparing to go play the event. So you always put your leader in the very first spot. Next thing about it, there's a lot of confusion about, does the turn or the order in which you fill up the squad, does it matter? And for the most part, the answer is no. It generally does not matter. Placement generally does not matter. However, there are several characters, such as Chewbacca and Chewpio, that the placement can make a difference. And I am not an expert on this because I don't put a lot of thought into it. But essentially it works like this. There is an order to which mods get applied, leadership get applied, character uniques get applied, and then when the battle starts, at the start of battle, other things check to get applied. For example, Chewpio takes 40% of the leader's stat values and applies it to himself. He doesn't steal it, he adds that onto himself. Then he takes of that half, I think 20% of that, or half of it, and gives that to the rest of the team, which means that when that unique kicks in, the stronger CLS is, the leader, the stronger he and the rest of the team become. R2 has something similar, and then Chewbacca applies guard on Han Solo and the weakest character, and that's going to matter based on the placement, as I understand. So let's suppose you put R2 in there. He's sharing 10% of the protection. So you can do some math, and I think that in this situation it'll balance out, but R2's will apply if he's first, then Chewpio's will apply, then I think Chewbacca would check for guard. Now, if you flip that, you put Chewbacca first, he would check to see who he's going to guard before R2 and Chewpio apply the bonuses. And that can result in some changed effects, especially if you have more paired synergies. So placement can matter, but it usually does not. Leaders must go first, and you cannot have more than one leadership applied in an event, no matter how many leaders you have. Hope that helps. Hey, what's a good team for Ughnaught? There is not one, but there are some really, really funny posts over here on this Discord channel where somebody was like asking people's opinions every day on a different character. And if someone does know a great team for Ughnaught, let me know. I skimmed over there and I was like, yeah, no, that's what I thought. Sadly, he would have been good for heroic pit raid, where you just throw in a random character, let him get eaten, and then you go in with your real battles. But yeah, that pit raid no longer exists, the heroic one anyway. So question from Space M about the speeder bike raid. Why is Jam not as effective? So it works like this. Jam, when you read the kits and you read the commentary from CG, should have worked in the same fashion as Evade. But the kit does not match what CG said in their description of the event from the developers. The way this works is whenever an Imperial Trooper uses their basic damage, their basic attack, they deal X damage based on their offense, plus damage equal to the number of evade stacks across your entire team. So you can see in this running video, Hera and Akbar are accumulating stacks of evade, and they do not go away unless they evade an attack. They don't go away. So the Imperial Trooper starts hitting for more and more and more damage, eventually hitting enemies for 100 or 200 damage, killing them in one shot. Ewoks and Evade, on paper, look like they should do the same thing. However, the problem is, as you accumulate stacks of Jam instead of Evade, the stacks of Jam increase the probability that the next wave of enemies to defeat are the weakest, and you get the majority of your points from killing the more powerful troopers like the Shadow Trooper, the Trooper Commander. So if all you get are Trooper recruits, it's very, very, very hard to achieve the higher score. So in the developer's comment, they said that when an Ewok uses their basic ability, it will consume stacks of Jam equal to the damage that they dealt to the player, or something like that. But it turns out they don't consume those stacks of Jam, they just accumulate them, and because they accumulate them, you only get to kill off scout recruits, and you minimize the number of points you can earn. So it's a disappointment, but it is what it is. One Imperial Trooper, 2 characters with evasive maneuvers. Next question, also about the raid from Omega 4. Sorry, I tried to say Omicron from Omega 4. Says, regarding the squad that I showed in one of my videos, Jedi Knight Luke, Rex, and Chewie, they're struggling to get past 1.2 million out of 1.8, so 60% of the damage. So it comes down to this. Those 3 characters all have Get Alongside That One and Divert Attention. You basically want to ignore those abilities in higher tier battles, and that would include the 1.8 million run. I think that's like tier 5. Why? Because they're not going to do enough damage to accumulate kills with Sideswipe and Distract, because the enemies are potentially going to heal themselves before your cooldowns reset enough to get these kills. The opening wave of the recruits, it's easy. You just spam the same button. Better to do the Divert Attention. You can just go, Divert Attention, Divert Attention, Divert Attention. So 3 turns, you'll kill both of the recruits. After that, you basically want to switch to your basic and just go full auto basic. Why? because Rebels, their faction bonus says that every time they use a basic, they repair 2 stacks of damage, which I believe that gives you points by itself, repairing damage on all allies. So it's an AoE heal. And then the character gains stacks of shield for every stack of repair that they would have damage. There is no such thing as a stack of repair. This is, again, CG bad language. In other words, for each stack that they would have repaired of damage beyond their max. So when they're at 50 health, you use a basic. If they were already at 50 stacks of damage, they can't get any more. So instead, they gain 2 stacks of shield. And if you can accumulate enough shield, and you can get up to like 100, 150 stacks of shield in some cases, then when the enemies go into enrage, they have enough shield and damage to survive 2, 3, and maybe even 4 hits, depending how things go. And that is enough often to allow you to kill 1 more shadow or 1 more phase even, depending how you time it, so that you can get some bonus points and push up into the 1.5, 1.6 million. It is doable. It's kind of tricky. So that first wave, you could probably spam the divert attention, and then after that, basic. Just basic till the end. Next question. This is actually 4 questions, so I'm going to hit this one pretty quickly. Does evade jam count as a buff? My thinking is no, because I think that would absolutely break the raid, and Veers, you're right, would gain an insane amount of turn meter, and I don't see that happening. So I think the answer is no. Does Jedi Knight loot count as a Jedi or a Rebel? Now, they did say, again, in the dev notes that are often incorrect, that he gains the Rebel tag. I know that he does have the Rebel tag because he does gain stacks of shield when using that basic. But is he still a Jedi? 90% sure the answer is no. So I don't think he's getting that bonus. Does anyone, what about uniques that are based on full health or less? Health does not exist in this. Health is replaced by stacks of damage, and it is not equivalent. So I am 99%, even though I put 90, I'm 99% sure that the game does not check for your health levels when applying a unique bonus. And then the last one, do the enemies reduce their cooldowns, or can you manipulate it? And the answer to that one is it doesn't really matter. I mean, it just honestly doesn't. You don't have to really care what the enemies are doing. You can completely ignore that for the most part. Instead, you want to stick to the basic strategy of 1 Imperial Trooper plus 2 units with evasive maneuvers and or hasty repairs. You want to spam those evasion stacks on yourself as much as possible, and then let the Imperial Trooper just kill them. What the enemies do, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're going to survive until they enrage. When they enrage is when you lose. So just go the path of least resistance. From Garbanzo. Why do I think CG took so long, and this was written before, is taking, past tense, took so long to change C-3PO? The reality is the number of bugs in this game is just mind-blowingly high. There are so many bugs. A lot of every new release is riddled with them, so they are working overtime to identify bugs. So when there are things that's actually not really a bug but maybe needs to be changed, that's kind of low on the priority list unless it's something substantial like this one actually was, with people being able to spam C-3PO. So I think that 1, they're just overwhelmed. 2, they had to test it. They weren't sure what was going on themselves, if it was worth it or not. And 3, they generally don't post decisions about most of their bug investigations anyway. But with that said, the cynical side of me says CG wants you to relegate your C-3PO because that's how they get their money, and they're certainly not going to refund that. Yeah, seriously. So yeah. Next one's also about C-3PO. Now that you, what is the best team now that you got to relegate C-3PO? Unlucky, sorry. What's the best team to apply with C-3PO? Well, really, this is going to be hard for some people to hear. C-3PO was never a great character for this raid. He is a average character because he has the evasive maneuverability. He synergizes with the Imperial Troopers, and that's what you want. However, he was never a great character for the game. He only has one ability, which is the evasive maneuvers, and nothing else. And you also have to remod him because he is normally modded for speed and potency or tenacity, and you don't want him. I mean, he doesn't do any damage, but here he is a combat unit. So you have to remod him to get the max utility out of him. And then he only has the one ability, evasive maneuvers plus basic. There are other way better characters. Now, why then did everybody say X plus C-3PO? Because you could spam him, and it allowed you to avoid having to upgrade more characters or, expand your roster with raid characters. And that made him great. But in terms of performance in the game, he was not a great character to begin with. He was just average. So with all that said, who do you pair him with? And the answer again is any available Relic 8 trooper. Since your C-3PO is Relic 8, put him with any available Relic 8 trooper plus any other available Ewok or Rebel, preferably one with, again, evasive maneuvers and hasty repairs. See, it's not about which characters you pair, it's about which abilities you pair. All Imperial troopers have the same faction ability. So you want to, take a trooper, any trooper, plus the Rebel Ewoks with the evasive maneuvers, hasty repairs. Optionally, way less effective, open fire and forest friends also apply stacks of jam, but at a much, much, much slower rate. Sorry for that answer, but that's the truth. Yeah, C-3PO is like, how rude. Any speculation about the next raid? Yes, actually, being that I believe that the next year is going to be the year of Separatists and Galactic Republics, Phantom Menace 25th anniversary, I'm confident that the next raid will feature Galactic Republic troopers, Jedis, and Separatists. Yeah. It also just kind of makes sense. If you look at the pool of characters available, take out all the Hutt cartels, the Jawas, the Tuskens, the Old Republics, take out Rebels, take out Imperial troopers, take out Ewoks. What's left? And there's several options. Of course there are. And Mandalorians also. So Mandalorians. So a lot of factions have already been used. Unless we go to recycle, then we have to look at where the other factions are that are available. And sincerely, the next two biggest factions are Galactic Republic, because that includes 501st, clones, Jedi, and then Separatists, which give you Geonosians and all kinds of stuff, right? Geonosians, Wat Tambor. I mean, there's a lot of them, and the Separatist droids, right? So it makes sense that would be where they want us to go. Now, what's the raid going to be? No idea. There's so many things, from the Clone Wars TV show to expanded universe to the movies. So yeah. Next question. I really like this one. What's better overall Relic 8 invest in, Iden or Sith Marauder? I think that hands down, without a doubt, Iden. Iden is the pilot for the TIE Defender, which is just ridiculously good in fleets and perhaps essential for a number of counters. Iden also is, even at the Kyber 2 range, I can't speak for Kyber 1, but even Kyber 2, I literally just got 3 holds in one match last week, and I got 2 holds in the match before with Iden at Relic 8, or Relic 7. And then I believe, I'm blind, but that's my Relic 8 Scout Trooper, and then I think the third one was Death Trooper. So yeah, Iden is still good. Yeah, you can Wampa her, but if you mod with a lot of potency and you're able to get that stun on the Wampa, it's game over for Wampa. Your next question, you were asking about Tuskens, or save up for Dark Trooper Gideon. If you're not going to have Dark Trooper Gideon and the whole squad immediately or really, really soon, I would finish out your Tuskens. They are so good. I use my Tusken every territory war and many GACs to take down Starkiller. Caveat: if Juhani's there, it's a lot harder. But if it's the Starkiller run with Old Ben, I can just generally put it on automatic, and there you go. Or if they put on any high turn meter team on defense, Ewoks, Imperial Troopers, anything that's going to gain a lot of turn meter, Mon Mothma, the Tuskens just walk right over it, right? I mean, they are a good team no matter what, and they are an easy investment overall. You do need some Kyrotech, obviously, for Chieftain, and Warrior. But the other three, they're easy and fast. So, yep, that's where I would go. Next one. This is a great resource, everyone. This is a really good resource. So, Gas is asking, is there like a place to optimally spend your resources? And I don't know where this came from, but Chronocast posted it in my Discord, and I screen grabbed it. You're welcome to screen grab it or go check it out in the Discord. If anyone knows the source, let me know, and I'll give credit for it next time. But this, I think, is a really, really good breakdown of some of the better ways and places to spend credits and currencies and all those other stuff. Because, yeah, it's really hard to tell. And to be honest, this game is a currency management. It's a resource management game. It really, really is. Next one comes to us from Cosmo Dark Eclipser. Asks, technical question. How do you get a bot to auto-link tag people like this? Okay, when I post a YouTube video, how does it automatically tag? I think that's what you're asking. And the answer is I have no idea. Somebody helped me do it when I set up this Discord server a long time ago. But I would just go YouTube that one to death. I would search for it in YouTube, and I would read, or watch, and then just query it on Reddit and other places. But I got no idea. I'm a Discord newbie. I really am. I got no idea. Sorry. Back to Joe McFando. Oh, so you reliced up Wedge, Biggs, Lando, Captain Han, Rolo, and Lobot, and you're wondering what to do with them. Well, early mid-game, these are all good teams. Late game, the Sana actually has some good viability in territory wars with the Omicron, and then Sortie is a great team, but is easy to womp it. So I don't have a really fabulous answer for you. Sincerely, in JC, I put Wedge and Biggs with my GL Leia. Yeah, I'm nuts like that, but I totally do, and I'm super pleased with the outcome. I've had other people tell me that they are too. I've had a few people say, no, it doesn't work at all. And I'm like, well, it obviously works. Mileage may vary, right, based on mods. Mods is all the difference in Datacrons. But Lobot does plug and play very nicely with a sortie team. Sana with the two scoundrel rebel tanks is really good. Not like game-changing, earth-shattering, but really, really good. And that team works off of AoE damage. I don't remember the kit. So Lando and Rolo plug in very, very nicely right there. And then you could take out one of them and put in Captain Han, but I don't go for the revive. I mean, if you run the double tank, the revive kind of makes sense because you get two walls to get through, and then you got Han reviving if they do take one of them down. So it's a good thing. Now, if you're going to Relic 8 your characters, Mona Lisa, one of many, would like to know, who do you Relic 8 for this speeder bike raid? Now, this is going to be a little controversial. The MVPs of the raid, which is not controversial, are Akbar, Chirpa, and Elder, because they are the only three characters with both of the special abilities you want. Hasty repairs and evasive maneuvers. You want those with a trooper. So relicking 8, any of those, I know that is tough to stomach. That's really, really hard. But if you are going to invest in the raid, and that's your personal call if you're going to, these are the MVP 3s. Now, if you want characters with the most viability outside of the raid, then Piet obviously is your fleet commander for Executor. GL Leia is any GL should be Relic 8, as high as you can get them for the most part. But beyond that, though I didn't put them in here, like off the top of my head, who else would I Relic 8? I would Relic 8 Han Solo. I would Relicate Chewbacca, both for pilots, both for the CLS team, both for Toxic Leia team. And then possibly I would Relicate Iden. Again, Iden as a pilot for TIE Defender, and then as the leader of the Imperial Trooper squad that is just really, really good. So yeah, there you go. Fixie Delta asks, are there any good missions in Rise of the Empire for Ewoks? Yes and no. I use them on Lothal with consistent results. I am going 2 for 2 in Lothal every time. You need Relic 8 Ewoks to get there, though. Before that, they don't really play well in any of the light side planets. If I recall, on the central, there is, I don't remember the name of the planet, but in the middle path, first planet, I think they do pretty well. But the problem there is that you're generally deploying your Ewoks for the on the light side planets for the missions. So it's kind of unfortunate. The platoons, I guess, right? So you kind of break up the team to deploy them so you can't use them as a full squad, which is why I use them on Lothal in the back. But you also need to have really good modding. Ain't gonna lie, you need really, really good modding on that one because it can go bad quick. So be careful. So Autumn comes to us and asks, what are my thoughts on Darth Bane, who's coming next Conquest, I believe? Well, I actually don't have any thoughts on Darth Bane. And in general, Conquest characters make me go, I'll wait and see. Because of our boy Trench there, right? Trenchy, I know some people like him, but wow, I don't. I have never lost a Trench that I can recall. Every time I fought him, I've thought, well, that was easy. I don't even really look up SWGOH.GG counters for Trench. I just look at my roster, find what I think is a good, acceptable team, and I win. Now, I could be lucky. I could be getting lucky all these times. Maybe Trench is amazing and I'm getting lucky. But there are a lot of Conquest characters that have turned out to be a lot less awesome than the hype. So with Conquest, it's a wait and see for me. I will unlock him next Conquest, I think, and I'll see what happens. I don't know, but there's a lot of vids coming. I'm certain there will be no, sorry, he's in the next Conquest. There will be a lot of vids coming out, in 2.5 months whenever the whales are able to get them. So I would just say stay tuned and don't I wouldn't encourage any active farming or hoarding for Bane. I would complete your farms, focus on what you have, get the immediate return on whatever you're doing to help you in Rise of the Empire, in the raid, in GAC, and then tackle that beast as it arrives. Just a couple more questions. We're running out of them here. Somebody asked, where do I get a lot of the graphics I use? A lot of them come from just Google searches. I've also not screen grabbed, but I've downloaded a lot of the graphics from SWGOH.GG. Hope that's acceptable, but they're not, technically they are proprietary, but every content creator is doing the same and using them, and nobody seems to have objected. But it does give me pause for concern now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, yep, there they go. Some of them I do actually take screenshots of the game, and I'm sure Android will do it too, but in iOS and macOS, you can actually you can take a screenshot, long press on a focal point object, and it will extract it from that screenshot, and then you can copy it, and then I can just turn to my Mac and hit paste. It's a beautiful synergy. Just like pick up my phone, copy, Mac, paste, and it's there. Like no editing is needed. Don't have to file transfer, email, drop, airdrop, nothing. Just copy, paste. iCloud is really one of Apple's anyway, I'm getting off topic. Next question. Back to Dark Eclipser. So the question here is about is this the question? Hang on, I got to review it real quick. So my farming guide was that it's difficult to get the Zeta challenge, and asking about I think doing switching to Geos, and the answer is yeah, you certainly can do that. There's nothing stopping you. Although I feel that Geos are a side a distraction, and I'd rather stay on target. So instead of going for Geos, what I did. And of course, caveat, I did buy the hyperdrive bundle, but you can easily defeat in time the Tarkin Zeta challenge with a bounty hunter fleet. You're going to get Imperial TIE Fighter really fast and early. Darth Vader's going to come to you through all of the events and challenges, and you can farm the ship very easily, actually. And then you farm the bounty hunter ships, and that sets you up for Executor, and you need those bounty hunter ships to get Han's Millennium Falcon. So I would go with the Tarkin bounty hunters, and I still see a ton of those in my alt's fleet. Tarkin bounty hunters, and then suddenly one day, poof, Tarkin's gone, Executor's there. And so while Geos are an easier farm, they are still a distraction. So it's up to you. It's easy and they're good, but the concern is if you're trying to do a laser focused account, then when you get your Executor, what do you do with the geos after that? I mean, yeah, you can then pivot over to General Grievous, but there's so many other fleets that I think after Executor, most people pivot straight to Profundity. And so then the Malevolence then becomes a distraction, right? So that is honestly the way this game is engineered purposefully, so that we broaden and widen our rosters so that we spend more money. So it's up to you. It'll work, absolutely, or you can stay the course. It's up to you, either one, whatever is going to work best for you and fastest. But I would focus in on those bounty hunters. Similarly, Jedi Master here is struggling also with the Zeta challenge, and we got some screenshots here. And I think like the answer here is quite simply, your ships are still too low a star, and your pilots are too low level to beat these battles. You definitely need to get these up, minimum 4, maybe 5 stars minimum for the starfighters, and then mods make a huge difference. You need minimum 5 gold mods on all your pilots. The complete sets don't matter. It doesn't matter. So like if you're not, let's say you got Biggs and you are not going to use Biggs. Okay, I mean, you're going to use Biggs' ship, but not the character Biggs. Well, then get him up to gear 10 at least, get him up to level 85 at least, and then throw on all 5 mods, 5 gold mods. And those 5 gold mods, they're going to be a huge difference, because even if they are all different sets, just by virtue of being 5 and gold, they will increase the ship's protection, its speed, its potency, its tenacity, its offense, everything. And I recently helped somebody from the Discord. I can't recall who it was right now, but we got on a call. We spent about a half hour just chatting and hanging out, and he was having the same problem. Could not defeat a couple of fleet battles, was just getting hammered. And it was like, hey, let's go look at your mods. Oh, you know what? Your Akbar, wow. Let's put some, he had like 2 silver mods on them. Let's put all 5, all gold on there. Let's take that level up to 85. Okay, or in your case, I know you can't get to 85 yet, but you will very soon. And let's go ahead and add some gear, go from like gear 6 to gear 9. And then we went back into the battle, and it was like, that was easy, right? So the thing about pilots are, you want the pilots to be geared as much as possible. Don't invest like a lot of modding materials in them. Just take the crappiest mod you have, no speed, no problem. Just 5 and gold. That's what you need. And I think that you'll find that these missions become a whole lot easier. All right, 2 questions left. One here is about my Biggs, Wedge, not CLS, but GLA team, how to mod them. Biggs needs to be as much survivability as possible. Survive. Because what happens is every time he's critically hit, he gains 100% turn meter. So the enemy Leia critically hits him, or anyone critically hits him, he gets 100% turn meter. He attacks somebody with retribution, they attack back, critical hit, 100% turn meter, and it repeats. And every time he uses a special Wedge assist and a random ally assist, so you want to mod Wedge for as much critical damage and offense as possible. Crit triangle is not that important on him. A lot of people do, but no, you don't need it. His critical chance is only like 80 or 60%, I think, at Relic 7. At Gear 13, which is like Relic 0. But what happens is he gains critical chance up through Biggs, and I think Leia does it also somehow. I can't recall, but he's gonna be over 100% critical chance no matter what. So I would aim for offense with critical damage triangles, and I think that will help you. But Biggs, keep that homeboy alive as much as possible. You don't need a lot of speed. As soon as he's critically hit, he'll take a turn, right? So just whatever you do, don't put a crit avoidance arrow on him. You're totally breaking him if you do that. Last question. This one comes to us about territory wars. So somebody here is relatively new to the game, and they're struggling to fit into their guild's territory war. They don't want to feel like the guild is pulling them along. And I know that feeling, because that's how I feel with my alt account. So what I can recommend is, 1, reach out to your guild leadership. Find out what they would like you to work on. If they tell you you have to do XYZ, find another guild. Just simply find another guild. But if they're like, hey, thank you so much, we appreciate you looking into this, we appreciate your help and our efforts, that's going to make you feel better, and then they're going to feel better. So I would recommend, though, going for like a First Order Phasma Squad with Omicron, General Grievous Droidica with Omicron, Ewoks with Nisa, Omicron, or Geos with Poggle, Omicron. I know all of that sounds like Omicron this, Omicron that, and it is. And Omicrons I know are not easy to come by. But the thing is, if you put one of those on there for your guild, they're gonna love you for it. In particular, most guilds like the Droidica Omicron and the Pogglecron. A lot of guilds really love that. They're great teams. And then you can feel good knowing you did something for your guild. They're going to feel good knowing you did it for them. And life's better. Beyond that, you need to make sure you're getting 50 points, set 3 squads on defense. A lot of guilds will reserve one territory, one spot, usually in the back, where they'll say, you know, just put your junk. And by junk, they mean like whatever the lower level players can afford to put, as well as whatever the best players didn't put up front, right? So if your guild has one of those spots, drop your 3 best teams in there, farm up one of these guild teams for the guild, and then feel good about it. All right, I hope that helps. Hey, folks, we are out of time. I'm out of questions. If you like this video, you know what to do. Pretty please push that like, push the subscribe button. It is free, and it helps me. And I will catch you all later on the holotables or here in the Gerbil's Den. Thank you. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.